Meghan Markle is playing to an audience of no one. That is what we get from the latest reveal of Netflix's top 10 list for the week of Meghan's launch. And she's still desperately showing her tell and trying to get people interested in this train wreck of a show by showing more exceedingly boring, fake, contrived clips online. This is not going to work. Once something has failed, it's just very, very hard to revive it unless people discover that it's actually good or it's so bad it's good. And Megan's show is neither. It's not so bad, it's good. It's you could fall asleep to it. It's so incredibly boring. And that of course is Megan's big problem because the audience has abandoned this thing in droves. And I think once we get the real numbers from Netflix in a couple months, I think we'll see how horrifically awfully this thing flopped. But we do have a little bit of metrics, and I can tell you definitively right now, she lost already a fifth of her audience. But we are going to get into more of this. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary. So please hit the subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. And we will be skipping our Crown Report segment for this week because I do plan on bringing back the live Crown Report show on Tuesday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is when I go over what all of the other royals are doing. I really like doing that show. I know some people have mentioned missing it, and I think it's a great thing to return. I've always wanted to have it. And so my goal for this fall is to actually see if we can get that show on track because I think it's so important. It's so great. And I really want to deep dive more into what the other royals are doing. And of course, we'll have longer segments on that on the Crown Report as well. But I do want to bring back that program for sure, everyone. So look forward to that. But I do want to remind everybody that we do have Catherine and William attending the National History Museum for an event. And very excitingly, I did also get an advanced copy of Valentine Lowe's new book and hopefully securing an interview with him next week. So I'll be perusing that here very, very soon. But onto this disappearing audience, because I had been waiting. Yesterday, I actually took sort of a day off, you could say, and did a little bit of a trip. And I came back and I kept waiting for the Tadum numbers because I wanted to see where Meghan's show land, if at all. And I kept waiting and waiting. And I think because it was a holiday weekend, they didn't actually reveal the number until Tuesday, like probably after 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would say 9 a.m. Western Time is when they finally revealed it. And it gave us a really, really good, solid already view of how Meghan's show did. And it did horrifically badly. We don't know the exact numbers yet, but I did a little bit of a deep dive, and that's why I'm actually so excited to do this video. Yes, I'm going to do one about Meghan and her mom too, because obviously her reposting an old social media picture of her mom that she took in 2016, I think says a lot. As if, she reposted it as if it's new when it's quite old. And so it raises a lot of fascinating questions about their relationship. But when I was doing a bit of a deep dive for this, I got so invested. And Netflix actually gives us a lot of numbers in a lot of ways that I can tell you for definitive positively, I think Meghan's show, if I was going to guess at about a number, now, of course, we won't know the number of the week of the release because they won't reveal the full numbers until later. It'll be a compilation of this whole 6-month period. But I would guess, if I was a betting person, I think at most her show got 1 million views. And if you look at it even further, I would bet you when it's released next year, I would guess 2.5 million or less, half of her initial audience. That is what my guess would be, or less. It could 100% be less. So what am I talking about and how am I coming to this conclusion? Well, let's take a look. So this is Tadum, which is Netflix's sort of news outlet. And they actually give us the top 10 shows here. And it's actually on their tabs. If you go home, top 10 is the next to it. And so we go down and this is shows. You do have to specify shows because obviously they have movies too. And this is the ranking of the week. So we have Untamed down here at the lowest at 2.1 million. And My Life with the Walter Boys at 11.8 million. So obviously you have a whole spectrum here. Wednesday is still doing well, season 1, because people are rewatching it. It's been 25 weeks in the top 10. And season 2, 4 weeks in the top 10 because it just came out. We have the second half of season 2 coming out now. So like between these two, you see obviously a show that's a standout because people go back to it again and again and again and again. But what about Megan's? And we do have another new release that week, which was Katrina Come Hell or High Water. It came out a day after Megan's show. I watched that one in addition to Megan's, but this one I was actually somewhat interested in. I didn't at the end of the day. I can't give it a strong review. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. But anyways, that got 7.3 million views. And they do this by dividing the hours viewed by runtime. So that's been important. Obviously, you have a couple here who have been on here for weeks. So the only ones that are new are My Life with the Walter Boys, Katrina, and Raw 2025, which of course comes out like every week. So in a week for this new Raw show from WWE, got 2.6 million views. Now, so we had the lowest show at 2.1 million views. Now, this is sort of complicated because again, they divide the hours viewed by runtime. So I'm just writing down real quick so I don't remember. So I had 10,400,000 hours viewed, and they end up with 2.1 million. Now, if we go back to, because again, Netflix is sort of great at this, guys, I do have to say, I can always go back to the week of Megan's launch. So here we go. And we can see Megan ended up here at number 10. And at the time, so she had a longer runtime, she had more hours viewed, but she had 2.6 million views. So on this basis alone, because the 10th show on the week of her launch only had 2.1 million views, you can already say definitively that Megan has lost 500,000 people out of her audience, which is basically a fifth of her audience in week one is gone. It's not good. It's really, really not. It is reflective of the fact that how badly this show has flopped. But there's an even, let's say, bigger metric. And as I was fiddling around with this, I found this nice little button right here. And I clicked it, and you could do lists, and you could do country lists. And so what this list does, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and it shows you, I'll just pull it up here. It shows every top 10 for going back, I think all the way to 2024, maybe even 2023 here. Yeah. So this is all Argentina all the way back to, sorry, I have to keep going. Oh, I would say 2021. So all the way back to 2021, we can see the top shows, not only of Argentina, but of every country Netflix has on its top list. Obviously, this is huge. We get to 406,000 tabs on this thing. It's an insane list, but it's actually really cool. So what I did here, and I won't do it all just because I think it would be rather time consuming and somewhat boring. But of course, I showed you how I got this information. So you are welcome to recreate my results. And this is what I did because I wanted to know last time Megan's show launched, what was its number on the top 10 list? And did Megan's show at all make any top 10 list in any country this week? And I can tell you guys definitively that no, Megan's show out of like the 30 or 40 countries Netflix lists on its top 10 lists. So it has more countries than that, but these are the countries that they rank for the top 10. Megan's show did not make a single list for season 2. Not a single one. Not a single one. I went through that whole list. I put in With Love Megan, and yeah, that was the result. So I did, though, write down. So last time, she was number 7 in Australia, Bahamas and Bahrain at number 10, Canada at 8, Croatia at 7, Cyprus at 9. Estonia, she was number 6 the first week, number 10 the second week. Ireland, Kenya, Latvia, and Lithuania were all at number 6. Luxembourg at number 10. Maldives at 7, Malta at 9, New Zealand at 7, Norway at 10, Qatar at 8, Slovenia at 9, South Africa at 7, Sri Lanka at 5, and then at the second week, number 10. So she only had 2 countries, which were ironically Estonia and Sri Lanka were the only 2 countries where she had a second week because I was going through the list and it came across twice. And I thought, oh, maybe her second season did rank in one of those countries. Newsflash, it did not. So Trinidad and Tobago, she got number 8. We have UAE at number 5, UK at number 7, and the United States at number 10. So again, Feel free to recreate my results with that Excel spreadsheet if you want to. But I thought these were really illuminating because here again is what I've always thought happened, which is that everybody wanted to see the meltdown that was raging across social media over Megan Sussex when she chastised Mindy Kaling. And she had the curiosity factor. People wanted to know, this woman who generates endless headlines, can she front her own show? And the answer is no. There is no audience for Meghan Markle in many ways. There's just not. Her fans are not there. They're just non-existent. Yes, the Sussex Squad exists. Yes, they pop up from time to time on X. For me, I've ended up having to block a lot of them, but she's not successful. There is no metric where you can look at that and go, "Oh, this is a huge success. Meghan did great." She didn't. And Netflix knew this was going to be the case. And it goes along with something that we've known, which is that Netflix did not re sign a first look deal with the couple because they actually believe in the creative powers and juices of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They're there for the divorce or the Diana doc. Those are the only reasons Netflix re signed them at all. Because if Meghan was going to make a huge success out of things, this was probably the show. But it was way too fake and contrived. And Meghan talked in a recent Bloomberg interview about, her audience. Her audience loves it. That's why she got a season 2. Even though the real reason she got a season 2 is that Netflix had her, or she demanded that she could film 2 seasons at once. And so regardless of how season 1 performed, she still got season 2. Well, now we've seen the results of season 2. And I firmly believe that this thing ranked among the worst and was probably managed to scrounge out about 1 million views would be my guess. And again, overall, I would say 2 to 2.5 million would be her overall because she doesn't have an audience, or the audience she does have is microscopically small. And she can't seem to accept that. And what's actually kind of interesting is that there was an interesting little bit on social media today, which I think is well worth commenting on, because I saw this article and I'm like, this is complete and utter BS. I don't believe an absolute word of it. And I will say, I have used Page 6 as a source before, but I find this article to be complete and utter BS. So it's this one that says, oh, stupid ads. Prince Harry, okay. Prince Harry demands 2 royals revealed before UK visit, and one involves Meghan Markle. Report says that Harry will reportedly meet with King Charles next week, marking their first appearance in person. I haven't heard anybody really in the Royal Rota report this at all. I think it's BS. And what got really interesting to me is that this was all according to top celebrity publicist Rob Shutter. Now, I don't know that much about Rob, but I don't think he has any sources here because, again, this doesn't make a whole ton of sense. So, according to him, Harry's demands included full security for him and his family and press control that will be coordinated by Buckingham Palace, and for his wife, Meghan Markle, to be treated as Her Royal Highness, complete with bows and curtsies in her presence. Harry doesn't want another trip where he feels unprotected and exposed. There's no report at all that Meghan is going to accompany him in the slightest. She doesn't want to be back in the UK. Why would she go for the Well Child Award? She doesn't care. Like, why would she care to go? And Harry's whole thing is he can't bring his family unless he gets his full security. But his full security, according to Revik, he doesn't really need most of the time. Like, he can let them know he's coming and they'll look and find arrangements if they need to. But if there's like no risk, then he's not going to get it. And his kids should be in school. Why is he going to pull out his kids for the Well Child Awards like Meghan Markle? Now, I could see this being a change. Let's say if Meghan is really still reeling, which I'm sure she is, over the absolute collapse of her brand and her show, like that both of them failed and face planted spectacularly in 1 week, I'm sure is like severely bruised her ego in a lot of ways, because she just thinks, again, that she can coast off the Duchess of Sussex name and not do anything. She still thinks that. She's only trying now that things have, again, catastrophically flopped. But there's no there, Meghan. It's not going anywhere. It's not gonna get any better, Meghan. Unfortunately for you, this is the reality. And so the story doesn't make any sense, but the reason why I think it exists is because negativity about her is what sells. Now, some of it is inaccurate, I will agree, but a lot of it is stuff Meghan has put out into the world that's coming back to her. She sort of gets what she puts out. And in many ways, a positive image of her does not sell and it doesn't work. Negativity and drama is what sells, not Meghan herself. And a story like that, which I think to me, again, was completely made up by the publicist guy. I'm sorry. Either his source made it up, whatever. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. It works though in the space. It got picked up by Page Six because negativity is what is making people money, not positive things about her. Her entire image right now is massively, massively negative. And people are interested. The reason people watched the season the first time is to number one, I think there was a genuine curiosity about who she is and if she can finally kind of get out of this toxic vortex that she created for herself. But the reality remains that the show wasn't good. And so even when the curiosity, the people who had, let's say, the best intentions with their curiosity, giving her a shot, went on the show and watched it, they all sort of hated it. And none of them returned. Again, it's a huge deal to lose a huge chunk of your audience. Again, I can say pretty positively that she lost at least 500,000 viewers. At least 500,000. That again is a fifth. She had 2.6 million. So if you do 2.5, a little bit over a fifth of her audience just vanished because they weren't interested, because she doesn't produce good content. And season 2 was in some ways, I feel like the first episode at least had more movement to it. But the whole show and premise, it just doesn't work. I don't even know what the show is. Is it a talk show? Is it a to do? Is it like home ec for the uber wealthy and a little bit crazy crowd? Like, I don't know. And I don't think the audience does either, because Meghan doesn't know who her audience is. Because in her mind, if she does it, of course people come because her ultimate audience is one, herself. And if she likes it, she thinks people are going to gobble it up. But because it's almost like in some ways the purest form of Meghan in terms of this ultra veneered person that she wants to portray, not the real her, obviously, it sort of proves that there is not a group of people invested in that. And her audience is microscopically small. Yeah, she might have 4 million people who follow her on Instagram. She probably couldn't even get half of those people to watch her show. Why? Because at least half hate follow her, not really follow her. Her Sussex stands, I'm sure, were there clicking endlessly, trying to watch that thing over and over again. It didn't help. Like we see here around the world, people were watching that show, but not anymore. They dropped it because it wasn't good and they didn't see a point of continuing it. And we see this reflected as well in her brand. Her brand sort of has collapsed too. Meghan is like a firework. She burned bright for a hot second, but then she completely and utterly fell flat on her face. Part of that, I think, is her personality and her branding, but part of that is poor management, poor marketing, branding, the influencing thing, whatever she's trying to do. She's trying to be so many things and trying to put on so many different personas that she reads as fake. And people are just not interested. And the interest comes from, truly for Harry and Meghan, and I've said this so much, it's noise, not conversion. It's noise. So what is actually making people money surrounding Harry and Meghan in many ways are the negative headlines about them and people like me talking about them, not actually them themselves. And Netflix is fully aware of the lack of audience for Meghan. She keeps talking about how Netflix is a partner in her brand. They are a passive partner. They're not a real partner here. If they were, they'd be working 10 times harder to make her brand successful. They don't care if it survives or fails. They actually are probably anticipating it failing. If they were so confident in it, They would put it on their website. It would be in the Netflix houses that are going to open up soon. I don't think it is. And they have just decided to hang around for the off chance of royal drama, and I think particularly the divorce. Now, of course, the Diana documentary would be a big coup for them as well, and I'm sure that would actually do fairly well for them, but nothing that the two, and I'm sorry to say nitwits, put their heads together, like rubbing their hands together, coming up with something. It's failed every time. Live to Lead actually did better than I thought it did, but it was a failure. Heart of Invictus was actually their biggest failure, and I think actually their best feature. But it should have been one where Harry took a massive step back rather than inserting himself in there. And everything they've done is boring, bloated, too earnest in many ways, and usually misses out on the real story, which has been my complaint for their stuff all along. Then we also have Polo, which was okay, but it failed to really lean into the reality TV show angle it should have. It tried again to be too earnest when it should have been a bit trashy. And that's the thing. I don't think Harry and Meghan know exactly what they want to do. And both of them are pretty inept in this area. So it's just not a surprise that everything has failed and that there is no audience for this. Meghan is yapping to an empty room. She's just the only one who doesn't know it yet. She's the only one who doesn't seem to really grasp the concept that people don't like her, and that if she does the same thing over and over and over and over again, it makes her less and less believable every time. Because what Meghan thinks, and again, this is what she should do, which is take two giant steps back, review what she wants to do, and reformat things in many ways. She's not doing that though. But when Meghan doesn't know who the real Meghan is, she can't really show, or she's too, of course, afraid to show the real her. And that's the thing in this world, authenticity does really matter. But Meghan, of course, keeps trying. And she should take stock of the failures and redress and change what she's doing, but she keeps doubling down and doubling down. That's why we get the same interview 50 million times now at this point. It's become obnoxious. And she has to start elaborating on the soap story to make it really interesting because she has nothing. There is no there. There is no there. And this is why Meghan is failing. But she's still trying. I will give her credit. She's still continues to try. Because, guys, we have another video. Again, I did a whole video on how Meghan's tell is that once things go wrong, she starts trying to promote it more in an attempt to right the ship. And we have more evidence of this with another boring clip from her show. This time, of course, in a little bit of, I guess, the bloopers. So,
whew, that's not pretty.
Joke. Don't look. That's not bad.
Girl.
No, guys, the vase is leaking. The vase is leaking. Heaven forbid.
What is happening? There's an enormous crack along the entire side. Is this working?
She showed us this clip recently too, which was abysmally dull.
I want to look, and the pulp comes out of that.
And what are we supposed to get from this?
Side.
She's got the case of the giggles, guys. She got
There's your driver
the
moose.
case of the giggles. Oh no, Meghan's not perfect, guys.
Okay.
Can't pour the shot.
Now I still have some stomach in there.
Oh, and then she made this joke, which I still don't get.
I'm just going to add a little bit more apple because my ginger has decided not to be a backup singer. He's performing. We're not going for
I feel like she was talking about Harry, but I still don't quite understand it.
perfect. We're going for real.
But she says she doesn't want perfection when she really does. And this, again, those little clips are part of Meghan's problem. Her show is too overproduced. It's too bright and airy. To such an extent, again, to me, it reads even more fake. And her forced attempts to try and insert a little bit of humor, you could say, or anything into it, just makes it worse, to be quite honest. She should really stop with these, because what Meghan should have done is behind the scenes videos with her phone. Just take her phone, make little behind the scenes videos, make little behind the scenes jokes, because we don't really need to see these cut sections, Meghan. It's not going to make your show any better. It's not going to bring an audience in. There is no audience. She is screeching to a crowd of none, except for maybe herself, her husband, and her children. Not her mother, for sure. So Anyways, guys, the failure of Meghan Markle continues. I really feel like this year is the true rise and spectacular fall of Meghan Markle. It's been a ride since March. It's been 5 months, basically, or I guess we're getting into 6 months. And failure is the word. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you again very soon. Bye.